Hey guys, this is David. So I'm making a video right now. It is Tuesday, but I'm going back to Friday to make a video. What I did was I did a live stream that didn't work. And so I'm recapturing what happened on Friday, and I'm going to put this video up. So until I get my live streams happening the way I want them, I'm just going to go ahead and make these videos and post these to YouTube and all the other ones that I'm creating. I want to be able to actually live stream to different platforms at one time, but I'm having technical difficulties. So right now I'm just going to go back. I'm backtracking and keeping my promise that I'm going to make videos every day on this till, as I document this as we go forward. Okay. So my stock trade for Friday was actually, okay, look at my notes, look at my notes. Okay, I got it. Okay, so what I did on Friday, I did what I typically do. I go in and I saw, I looked at my active, my top traders. I looked at that. I filtered it down to the ones that had traded the most. Okay, I go over there and I look at percent trade, percent of activity, and I filter that. Okay, all right. So then it's going to show me the ones that have had the most activity. All right, and usually you want to look at from there. You want to look at maybe the top 20, top 40, something like that. Okay, because they're already filtered out in order. Okay, of who's doing what. Then I look for relative volume. Okay, because there's different types of trading. All right, so if you're just joining me, let me quickly explain. I'm a day trader, not a swing trader, not a long-term holder of stocks. I want to trade, and in so many minutes or seconds, or I want to be out of that trade and I want to take a profit. That's what I'm doing. I'm not holding anything. Okay, my trades are done for the day. Okay, now I want you to understand something. For professional day traders, 10 cents or 20 cents is all they're after. They can get 10 cents or 20 cents and be done for the day, right? Because if they got enough in the bank and they have enough invested, that 10 cents on a stock move or that 20 cents on a stock move for a day could be $1,000, could be $10,000, okay? So that's what I'm going for. I'm going for 10 cents, 20 cents. And if I do better than that, fantastic. I could be done for the week, okay, if I get a couple of dollars, right? But what I'm shooting for, yes, I'm shooting for a couple of dollars, but if I can get 10 or 20 cents up for the day, 30 cents, 40 cents for the day, I've done great. That's great. That's a positive. You took money out of the market. That's great. That's like winning the lottery for me, okay? So now once I've done the volume and I'm looking for four times the average volume, I'm looking for 4 times. But here's the thing. If I can get 20 times, 80 times, 70 times the average volume, that's great. That's going on my list, okay? Because that means that the stock is going up and down, and I need the stock to go up and down. I need it to go up and down. Why? Because when it goes up, I can make money. When it goes down and comes back up, I can still make money again, okay? Because I am a buyer, not a seller right now. I mean, later on, maybe I'll become where I can make money going up and make money coming down. But right now, I just make money going up. So that's what I'm focused on. All right. So the ones I came up with Friday was JFBR was selling at $3.50, and I can get about 12 shares of that. And it had a low float. It had about 1.6 million in a low float, but I had a question mark beside it for some reason. Like I wasn't really loving it. I think it had 6 times the average volume. No, actually it had 2. I'm looking at this number, I can't make it out. It either had 1 or 2 times the volume, and that's low for me, so I scratched it out. I didn't go with that one. The next one I was going to look at was Wheeler, WHLR, Wheeler was selling for $3.24, or I should say maybe it closed on the previous day for $3.24. By the time I looked at it, it was going for about $5 or so. And so it had 20 times the volume. Now that piques my interest right there. And then the float was, so let me tell you what the float means, just so if you're new to this. Now, you know what volume means. Volume means that there's people buying and selling in the, actively. You don't want, in a day trade, you don't want to buy a stock and it just sits there and nothing's happening. That means there's no demand for it and you can get stuck with it, right? And so I don't want to get stuck with any stocks. I don't want to be stuck in any trade and I can't get out. So I need buyers and sellers actively doing some stuff, all right? So that's what I'm looking for. So it had a large volume, 20 times the average. That's pretty good, okay? And then I look for the float. Well, the float means that how many shares are out there to buy. If there's 1 billion stocks out there to buy, no matter how many people are buying, how many millions of people are buying, it's not going to move the ticker because 1 billion people, 1 billion stocks is hard to move. Okay, that's like a little boat on the ocean. Okay, that little boat, it'll make some ripples, but it's not going to move the ocean. It's not going to create a tsunami, right? So it's that kind of a thing. So, but it had a low float, which I like. That means it's going to move up and down with that much volume. Okay, so I like that for Wheeler on that day. The other one I was looking at, which was questionable, was TDIC. TDIC was going for 28 cents was the close of the previous day, and it was already up to 42 cents by the time it was starting to sell. Okay, but I don't like penny stocks. You'll hear me say that from time to time. I don't really like dealing with penny stocks. They're kind of all over the place. The graph looks crazy. They're usually all over the place. I'm not used to that. Maybe it's just that I'm not that good at it. And so if you see my eyes get bulgy like that, that means I'm pretty excited about what I'm doing and what I'm talking about, because yes, this is all new, but also too, I'm learning this. I'm actively learning this now, and I'm making progress, but I'm making mistakes, and the mistakes don't feel good, but I know I'm learning from them. It's kind of like you're trying to walk and then you fall, and it never feels good to fall, but you get back up and you keep going until you get good at walking, right? So that's what I've done in my life. It never feels good to fail, but if I fall flat on my face and I get back up, that's a good day, okay? So it's that kind of a thing. So with this one selling at 42 cents, I don't really like being in a price range that low, but at the same, because here's the thing, it could go down to zero and be worth nothing, okay? Yeah, I don't want that to ever happen to me. But at that point, at that price point, I can buy 80 shares. And what you learn about trading stocks is that the greater the number of stocks that you can buy, the greater the opportunity that you're gonna make some money, okay? Because when that number is larger, you have more shares in your pot. If each one of those shares make 10 cents and you bought 80 of them, wow, that starts to add up really, really quick. Versus a stock, maybe it's $5 and you can buy only 6 of them. If that one earns 10 cents, 10 times 6, 60 cents, still good number, but not as effective as earning 10 cents on 80, okay? So you gotta just kind of look at that in your numbers, and I look at that in my numbers, and it can be pretty crazy. Now, the other thing about that particular one that I liked was that the float was low. It was very low. So for a penny stock kind of a deal here, at least what I consider to be a penny stock deal, it might not be a penny stock being at 42 cents, but for a penny stock, I expect there to be millions and millions of those stocks to buy, but that wasn't the case. It was only 561,000. So that means that if there's only 561,000 roughly shares out there that can be bought, that's a relatively low number. So that would make that pretty volatile. And at the time, the volume there was 7 times. So as I'm looking at the different ones that I chose, the one that stuck out in my mind, I'm looking at my notes, the one that I stuck out in my mind was the middle one, which was Wheeler. Okay, Wheeler, WHLR, was the one I wanted to do. And so I put that on my screens and I started drawing the lines of where I thought the activity was going to be and where the breakouts might take place. And it did some tricky things that day, but to make a long story short, I lost big time that day. I think I was down, what did I come out with? If I'm thinking correctly, that time I came out down about $1 and something. I was negative. Oh yeah, I think it was $1.97. And I traded many times, but it seems like every time I touched the trade that day, and it wasn't the fact that I bought in on, because before I was buying in wrong, I was buying in on market, selling on market. Well, I changed all of that. I was actually buying in on a stop, selling out on a limit. And that had been really working well for me. In fact, that's what I use now versus what I was using before. Market was just, I didn't know any better. I heard somebody on the internet say that. And market is like, give me whatever price to get in and give me whatever price to get out. And every time I was losing, even though I was in a winning position, I was losing. The market was giving me the worst price to get in and the worst price to get out. So I was losing every time. I didn't like that, so I started to buy in on a stop and sell on a limit. And, that has worked better for me, okay? Because now I can tell the market what dollar price I want to start with, I want to buy into it with. The stop tells it, okay, say if I want to buy in at $1.21, okay, I can set my stop price and buy at $1.21. If it lets me in at that price, I'm in. Now I can go over to the sell. And when I set up my sell, I can say sell at $1.30. Okay, just give you an example. But I'm selling limited at $1.30. Okay, and so what that means is when that stock hits $1.30, it's supposed to let me out. Okay, when it works the way it's supposed to work, that's what happens. Does it always work that way? No, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it'll go right up to the limit. It'll go right up next to the limit and then just drop. And now you got to wait or sell as soon as you can. And what they tell you to do is just sell as soon as you can. If you don't have a stop loss set up, sell as soon as you can. Never say to yourself, oh, it's going to come back up. It's going to come back up. It's going to come back up. Because, and here's what I'm learning, because I've tried that a couple of times. When you say, it's going to come back up, it's going to come back up, typically it just says, it just presses through the floor, and now you've lost everything you gained in the same day. And I'm telling you, that happens. It's happened to me so many times. So when you see, because right now I'm paper trading, right? I'm paper trading. So as a paper trade on Webull, because I'm on Webull, it doesn't allow you to set up stop losses and stop gains at the same time. I want to set up stop gains because I'm trying to gain and capture my game in the moment. But if you don't set up a stop loss, what happens is it could just keep going down, and you keep losing. But I still look at this as practice for me. So I'm practicing both in a sense, okay? One day I'll be able to set up the stop losses as well. When you're selling and when you're trading, I should say, when you're trading real money on Webull, they let you set up both. You can stop, you can sell where you want to sell, and you can set up limits. You can set a stop loss at the same time. But on the paper trade, they don't allow you to do that. It's super frustrating. It really pisses you off, right? because you know that that stop can reverse on you. And I get faked out. I want to get to a point where I'm not faked out, but I get faked out. And here's the thing. Everybody gets faked out. It's just a matter of how you manage your risk and how experienced you are, right? If you're experienced, you get faked out less. I'm still a newbie. I'm still learning, so I get faked out. So I ended out the day with a negative, and it was ugly, and I was feeling crappy, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. It wasn't the computer, and my computer sucks, but it wasn't the computer that day. It wasn't my phone that day. It was just I entered at the wrong time, and I exited at the wrong time. And that happens. And when that happens, you should let it go for the day. You're just not making money that day. Chalk it up to that. Because here's the reason. I'm practicing with monopoly money right now. I'm using fake money. I'm practicing. This is practice. But practice also gets to a point where it becomes real life. It becomes real life strategy. I'm building a paradigm in my head. It's a real life strategy. If you ask someone like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, how did you make that three-pointer at the last second of the game, covered by three guys? No one else in the world could make that shot. How did you make that shot? They're going to say practice. I practiced that shot so many times that I could shoot that shot with my eyes closed and one hand tied behind my back. Practice. I'm practicing. So that's what I mean. Okay? When you're practicing, you're becoming what you want to become. You got to see it. I see myself becoming excellent at this. Am I excellent right now in this moment? There's some of that in me, but am I excellent? No, I'm not. But I believe I'm becoming excellent. And that is the key, is when you don't give up, you keep fighting, you're going to become excellent. I know that. It's happened to me so many times in my life that I've decided this is something I want to be excellent at. And it's not a need, it's just something I want. And because I want it, that means I'm going to go after it myself. No one's forcing me to do it. I'm going to do it myself. Okay? Because I don't trust any broker out there to make me wealthy. If I want to be wealthy, I've got to be wealthy on my own terms and how I choose to do it and doing it myself. I got to learn the skills for myself. That's the way I've ever had anything in my life. Okay? No one gave me a handout. You know, maybe my wife have done things for me that nobody else have ever done for me. Okay? But I'm just saying in general, in business or anything, I had to get out there and I had to hustle and I had to earn it. I had to learn what it took and then I had to earn it. And that's what I got to do here. So if you're that person and you want to learn stock trading and you want to get in the trenches with me, that's wonderful. Get in the trenches with me and learn it. Subscribe, hit that bell so you can see what I'm talking about, that you can get on screen and see what I'm talking about. Because eventually I'll get to the point where I'm showing you on the screen how this thing goes. But right now, I'm just documenting how I did for the day. And you can see it. Like if you're trading already, maybe you're an expert and you're trading already, follow me and watch me get better and better and better. Okay? And if you've got some tips for me, leave them in the comments and I'll check them out. Okay? But follow me because I'm going to get there. All right? I'm not there yet. I'm going to get there. And I'm giving myself about a solid 2 years on this. Okay? I'm very fortunate in that I'm traveling the world right now. I've been traveling the world full time for 5 years. I have the time to learn this, to study this, to get better at it. And I'm going to get better at it. Okay? I don't have a need for it. It's something I want. Because it's something I want, I'm going to go for it. So if you're that guy, then subscribe, hit the bell, follow me on my journey, okay? And tell me about yours, Okay, but we got to do this. This is something that we got to do. We got to make it happen. And we know how to make it happen. We got to do it. So anyway, I'll share with you what stocks I pick. You share with me what stocks you pick, and let's make this happen. Okay, so that's Friday. Okay, so what I want you to do is check it out, check this video out, and tell friends about it. Okay, here's another thing I want all you guys to understand. I've been a YouTuber for years with my wife. We have a travel channel, okay? But I want to tell you something, and I believe this in my heart, and it's not a bias thing. It's just the algorithm for YouTube is biased. So I want you to share this video with somebody who wants to get into day trading. I want you to share it with them. I want you to send them the link and share it with them. Don't think they're going to find me in the YouTube ethos. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because they don't show our content like that. Okay. So I want you to, if you want me to be successful on this channel, share the channel with somebody. Don't just look at it and say, oh, that was nice. No, subscribe and share it with some friends, right? Because here's the thing. One day when we get to retirement, all right, a bunch of our friends, they're not going to have Social Security. Okay. A bunch of our friends, they're not going to have retirement money. Okay. A bunch of our friends, they're going to be out on the street. So if we don't do something now about that right now, if we don't start learning what we need to learn and do what we need to do right now, 10 years from now, we'll be beggars. Okay. Or we'll be working in Walmart somewhere. Okay. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All right. For some people, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's not where I want to be. And I don't think that's where you want to be. I don't think that's where your family members need to be. I think you need to get on board with learning this and getting this down. So if you believe the same thing I do, like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.